So recently, in the modern spiritual man community, I asked a question, which is, what do you need most help with? And do you know what came up consistently? It was self-discipline. You're going to love this video because I'm going to go through 6 of the most important areas that if you don't have these in place, you're really going to struggle. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Simon Lovell, bringing you growth to support you on your journey to be the best that you can be, to achieve whatever you want in your life. As always, it would really help me to help more people, that if when you watch this video, something strikes you and it resonates with you, just hit that like button and also comment, because I really want to interact with you, and also the like and the interaction just really helps to rank the video, to change more lives. And so if you genuinely think it's useful, please, it would really help me. Thank you so much. So, again, in the community, modern spiritual man community, I asked the question, what do you want to learn about and what would most help you? And self-discipline came up, and I love this topic because I wasn't self-disciplined, but also, that chops and changes based on so many different things. And so I'm going to be sharing my own personal experience with you, but also understand that these components are absolutely critical when it comes to your own self-discipline, but not just that, but also your level of fulfillment, your level of happiness, your level of joy, which I want you to have. All right, because I care about you. So, the first one, which is available, you might want to write these down, available mental energy. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're not self-disciplined and you've got, for example, unresolved trauma, or, for example, there's other things going on which are toxic, right? Then that's going to drain your energy, right? If you've got people around you that are draining you, you've only got so much energy to give. And so, discipline requires energy to be in the system, okay? So, for example, when I was really struggling and I was addicted and all of that, I knew I had to make a difficult decision and move out of the area that I was living in. But what that did is it created space, energetical space, for me to be able to get disciplined in the thing that I really wanted to do, because I was saying to myself, this is not really me. I have this life that I want, but the actions that I'm taking aren't aligning with where I want to be. So I had to make some difficult decisions. Okay, so your available mental energy is essential. So sometimes we need to hold boundaries. Sometimes we need to, implement some things where we need to make a move, like I did. And it's not everyone, but what is critical for everybody is how much energy that you have. And I talked about this in another video, but if you've got anything that's been mentally not resolved yet, a discussion with someone, resentments, lack of forgiveness, all of this is taking up mental energy. For example, debt for me was a big one. I ended up clearing all my debt, and when I had that debt, I pushed it down. I suppressed it. I decided to ignore it. The best thing that you can do to actually, deal with something is to bring it to the surface and not ignore it anymore. And a lot of people find that difficult. Why? Because it means asking for help. It means admitting the truth about who we truly are, right? And so many people struggle because they're not able to find the courage to do that, because they fear judgment from other people. And all the time that you're doing that, you're living a life for someone else's opinion, or through someone else's opinion, right? And it's a shame. So, available mental energy. Number 2, which is a vision. If you don't have a vision of where you want to be, you're going to stay stuck. You're going to stay where you are. You're going to stay in the job that you don't like. You're going to stay in a relationship you don't like. You're going to the business is going to stay stuck, right? And as humans, we want to grow. Why? Because as we grow, it's evolution, right? We're evolving. We want to grow because we want to evolve, and that's normal. So if you're not doing anything and you're not growing, that's going to be directly linked to self-discipline. The next one, which is when we talk about the words self-discipline, right? Let's focus on self. Belief in self is absolutely key. And if you don't have belief in yourself, then you're not going to have self-discipline. I did another post the other day which talked about, ideas are only useful for those that have a belief in themselves. because if someone gets an idea and they have belief in themselves, then they'll move forward and they'll create, and these are the people that change, worlds and do amazing things in the world. There's also people sometimes, right, that sadly, they have ideas and they're so wrapped up in themselves that they are destructive. I hope that if you're watching this, you're not in that camp and you're in a place, for example, where I am, where I'm doing what I'm doing so that I can help people have a better quality of life. So self-belief is important. Also rewards and rewarding ourselves, and that doesn't have to be, anything expensive, but we have to create rewards to create momentum. If someone, I used to work as a personal trainer many, many years ago, and, if someone, has a lot of weight to lose and they don't see some momentum, right, it's going to be very disheartening, and they're not going to have this self-discipline to get all the way through to their goal, because they need to get some quick wins, right? So that's why you don't need to lose a bunch of weight, but you do need to actually do something regular enough where you start to feel different. You don't necessarily need, if you've got lots of weight to lose, you don't necessarily need to see, for example, yourself thin straight away, but you do need to feel different. If I ate, 10, 20 donuts today, I'm not going to see it instantly, but if I did that consistently over time, then I would notice it. So think about that in other areas of your life, right? Sometimes we don't see the thing that we're going to gain because we don't give it chance. Are you giving things chance? Are you giving things enough time, or do you quit early? What have you quit on that you actually need to pick up again? All right. The next one, which is habits. If I want to change something that I don't like about myself because A, I care about myself or I care about someone else, I need to change that habit. And so the first stage is to become aware of that, right? So test that with yourself. What's something that you could just randomly do to notice that, oh, I could change that? Then what that does is it creates a mental association that, wow, what if I could do that in a bigger area? I could change my whole career or my business or my relationship. Why? Because I change my habits. Right? I become healthier, and in becoming healthier, I'm going to become more confident. You see, sometimes, once again, we can't see the impact of doing one small thing that ends up building up. The next one, which is intensity of desire. If we don't have an intensity of desire, then we're not going to have self-discipline. How do we get intensity of desire? We got to want something badly enough. How much do you want it? Right? How much do you want it? And some people will say, Simon, I'm just not motivated. Then you've got to have the vision. You've got to create the vision. If you don't have the vision and you don't see something and you don't believe that you can get it, then you're not going to have intensity of desire. You see, intensity of desire is also about energy, right? You have this energy of go, or you have this energy of confidence, and that's just within you. And that's very attractive, right? It's very attractive personally. It's also very attractive professionally. And it's an energy. When I'm working with people, whether it's one-to-one or in a group or whatever it is, I know that I have to bring enough energy in the system to create intensity of desire. And the final one, which is, guys, you've got to believe and feel that you already have it. And this can be a bit of a mental game to play with yourself, and it's kind of fun. But, it's not just a case of going like, oh, okay, I see myself in, this stage of my life. No, you've got to actually experience it. And that takes actually going into that and seeing it, see it, hear it, feel it. For some of you, I'm very visual, right? So you maybe be visual too, or maybe you're, more of a hearing, right? So auditory, or maybe you're more of a feeler, kinesthetic. Once you actually pull everything together and you can see, you can hear, you can feel, what that does is it creates this, rounded, kind of solid manifestation structure for which the universe is going to bring that to you, right? So then if we study, and you want to go further into quantum physics, and there's a science behind it, but, when we see, when we, for example, feel, for example, when I put a vision board together, I saw it every day, so it was a mental trigger, but also I felt, and I got to that point in my body where I was like, I know that these things, they're going to come into my life, right? I need you to get to that point. And it's going to be unnatural for most of you, some of you. For some of you, it would be more easy to do. But, you know, depending on where you are in your life or what you've got going on in your life, you're going to have to maybe train something that you've not trained before. But you've got to think about that like running a marathon. If someone wants to run a marathon and they haven't ran before, they're going to have to go through it. They're going to have to go through the uncomfortable parts. They're going to have to go through, you know, self-discipline to be able to reach that. But in reaching that, what it's going to do is it's going to build confidence, and then it's going to open up more opportunity. So sometimes we don't see the opportunities that are going to come from doing one thing, right? For example, you know, people don't invest in themselves, and it's crazy to me because they want to spend money on themselves, on things that give them a short-term fix, but they don't want to invest in themselves because they can't see what happens because there's so much fear, right? And that's one of the double binds for someone that, you know, has lack of self-worth, which is they won't invest in themselves because they don't see themselves as being able to succeed, right? But when they go into courage and they start actually investing in themselves and using the things that they're learning, it ends up building up and building up and building up. And that was me. That was what happened to me. You know, I went from 50K of debt and addicted and changing my whole life around because I realized that I needed to stop spending and I needed to start investing in myself, right? And actually being around and investing in those that have lived it and experienced it, you know? So self-discipline is not just one thing, guys. It's a multitude of things that have come together. So the craziest thing for you to do would be to watch this video, have something resonate with you and you not dive into it. If you're someone that's committed and you want to actually do, you know, and become, you know, just a different version of yourself, head to modernspiritualman.com, go to programs, get Entrepreneur Evolution if you're an entrepreneur, or Extraordinary if you're, you know, not a business owner or entrepreneur, or find something that's right for you, right? Take an uncomfortable leap and actually do the things that you're asked to do and actually commit fully, because it's in that you will start to become disciplined, right? Maybe you've bought something already, or you've bought a book and you've not read it all the way through, and you know that it's there and it could support you. Actually put something aside, don't go out this weekend or don't watch TV, and actually sit there and educate and actually look very closely at what is a fix of entertainment versus actually something that could really move the needle and not just impact you, but also the world. Okay, now I've got some videos coming out for you. Check these out because these could really support you on your journey. I'll see you very soon. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and take it easy. Bye-bye. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. If so, hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to make sure that you get the regular updates. Also, here's a couple of videos that may support you further in your journey. Also, head to modernspiritualman.com where you will find about my deep mission to support men all over the globe. Take it easy and I'll see you very soon.